All right, you made it. Thank you for sticking around. I'll try to make this as entertaining and hopefully quick as possible so you can get onto your dinner or drinking or wild parties of Token 2049. Okay, so maybe I'll start with a quick question just to sort of level set. How many people have heard of EtherFi before? All right, that's not bad, 20%. Okay, so I'll start with a quick introduction and then I'll talk about really what's a call to action to build real things on the blockchain. So EtherFi, we started off in our early days about a year and a half ago as a liquid staking protocol. And since then, we've added a suite of products to flesh it out into a complete crypto native neobank, a new category that we're calling DeFi Bank. And I'll tell you more about that a little bit later. High level where the protocol is at is we've got about $5 billion in TVL. We're one of the top 5 largest protocols in all of crypto. One of the fastest growing to get to that scale just over the last year and a half, and continuing to grow and add users. Okay, so let's start with a question, which is how big is DeFi? In other words, if you were to look at, let's say, the top 5 or 10 projects on a DeFi Llama and ask how much revenue do those projects generate? So not how much TVL do they have, not how many tokens they've emitted, but how much revenue do projects in crypto actually generate? These numbers are, plus or minus maybe 50%, depending on how accurate the data in DeFi Llama is. But if you look at those top 5 projects, you'll see numbers, along these lines. So Aave, big lending and borrowing market, I think they're the largest protocol by TVL these days. Depending on the day, generates about annualized $50 to $100 million in revenue. Hugely successful business, very profitable, doing great. Lido, the largest staking protocol, generates again roughly $50 to $100 million in revenue, depending on the price of ETH on that day. Sky or Maker, as it used to be called, generates almost $200 million these days. I think they were up almost $500 million prior to that. And then EtherFi, last year we did about 26 million in revenue, and this year we'll do, depending on how things go, 50 to 100. So that's the order of magnitude. The largest protocols in crypto, decentralized protocols in DeFi, generate on the order of tens of millions to a few $100 million in revenue. Again, this can be a little bit murky. So, for example, is Pump Fund? They generate a fair bit of revenue. Is that really DeFi? Hyperliquid, another good example. It's sort of in a gray area, but I think this is representative. Okay, cool. That's where we are. Let's level set on that. Now let's look at the outside world in companies that are publicly traded. This is Zendesk. For those of you that are familiar, for those of you that aren't, it's a fairly random help desk software company. Maybe some of you have used it. They generate about $1.5 billion in revenue. It's like an early 2000s help desk software. So when you chat support, the ticketing system is probably in some cases run by Zendesk. There's dozens of companies that are in this space, some which are larger than Zendesk. So I use this really as a fairly boring kind of prosaic example. There are tens of thousands of companies in the world that are larger than Zendesk, and it's valued at around $10 billion. So in just about a decade of development, all of DeFi has managed to get to less revenue than one fairly random help desk company from the 2000s. That's, I guess what it shows is that there's a lot of opportunity here. There's a lot of opportunity here to do more than just gambly stuff that, recycles the same capital between the same couple thousand people over and over again. There's a huge opportunity in building things for real people. So that's my call to action is enough with the gambling stuff. It's time to build products for real people. There are 2 or 3 orders of magnitude of scale that are left to be had by building products for users, by creating products, charging money for those products, and then feeding that back into the DeFi ecosystem, or more broadly, the crypto ecosystem. And the talk we just saw before, Gunzilla, was, I think, a really great example of that. I mean, huge opportunity, huge scale, a lot more revenue than what we've been kind of working with. Okay, so now I'll go into what's EtherFi doing to try and move in that direction. As I mentioned, EtherFi started off as a staking protocol and then expanded our mandate. And the mandate that we're going after now is to create this DeFi bank, to create a crypto native neobank built on crypto rails. And that market is massive. The global neobanking market is about $150 billion as of last year, growing super fast. Tons of users, tons of demand. Whether you look at the developing world or even countries like the U.S. or more mature markets, tons of market opportunity and revenue to be had. And so what EtherFi has built, if you were to use it like just as a customer, as an individual user, you would open up the app. It would, in many ways, look and feel very much like a Revolut or a Nubank or Chime. But the difference is it is entirely built on crypto. Every transaction is on chain. It's fully self-custodial. It is probably an order of magnitude cheaper, less extractive from our customers, and gives you a lot of the same features and benefits that you would expect. So specifically, you deposit your money, you can fiat on-ramp onto your EtherFi account. You can use that to then to buy and then stake your crypto, whether it's ETH, BTC, USD, whatever. You can then deploy it into DeFi right from your app in a safe, sort of bubble-wrapped way, so that you don't, it's not that you can sign a random transaction and your money is gone. Instead, it's nicely protected. And finally, you have a credit card attached that allows you to either spend your assets directly or to borrow against them. I would say it's the first instance of this complete end-to-end alternative to a traditional bank. And as I said, we've had a tremendous amount of success over the last year and a half that we've been live. I would say, looking at our growth curve, I mean, it's probably one of the healthiest ones in crypto, in that we had a massive scale up and we managed to retain our users and continue to grow. Part of that has to do with building up a trusted brand and just creating products that people actually value, not products that just only survive off of kind of nonsense Ponzi-nomics as people are used to. Great, so that's EtherFi. And as I mentioned, we actually make money. Crazy idea in crypto, I know. But last year we did about 26 million in revenue, fairly diversified for a first year in business, generated net income. And this year we're forecasted to at least double that, probably more, depending on a bunch of parameters. And so with that, hopefully that serves as an example to other builders out there. And I would like to, put that call out to action to everybody out there, that it's time to build, focus on real users, real customers, and there's no limit to how big you can get. I guess if there are questions, I'm happy to do them. I think we've got a little bit of time. If not, we can wrap up. There we go. One question.
$13. Oh, okay, right. Thanks so much. Last session of the day. Great energy. One of the themes that I've picked up today is around how non-consumer friendly some of the languages that we use in crypto or Web3. Your company is called ether.fi. There were .coms, Amazon.com, Google used to be Google.com, and so on. How do you see 5 years from now, maybe even 10 years from now, if there are 1 billion people using your product, your platform, do you feel like the branding, the consumer messaging will change? And do you have a plan for that, or is it going to be something that's organic and you just play it by ear?
I think that's a really good point and good question. I mean, aside from just naming, even today, if you were to use EtherFi, well, less so today now that we've launched the whole DeFi bank thing, but up until recently, I mean, having to have a crypto wallet with seed phrases, a hardware wallet, just the concept of signing transactions and approval. I mean, the whole thing is insane. I mean, I don't know if you ever tried to onboard a friend to crypto. I mean, it's just madness. It literally takes days, sometimes weeks, to get them to do even the most basic things. So I would say that's super important. With respect to the name, I don't know. I guess I thought it was we thought it was a pretty cool name to get started. As a counterpoint, one of the most successful companies in the world has a product called ChatGPT. It's arguably the worst name in history. But like what really matters is the actual value it delivers. So, and names tend to be sticky. After a while, I think people won't even register the connection. It's just they'll hopefully remember it as something that is just valuable and has a positive brand association with them. But I think it is a good point.
Yeah. One. Hello. Tell me, please, what do you think about the price of Ether and when will be growth of this crypto?
All right, what's the price? What's my feeling about the price of Ethereum? Okay, I'm going to call it. I'm going to say we bottomed out. I think ETH is up only from here on out. I think there's so many positive catalysts about ETH. I'm an engineer at heart, so maybe it's very easy for me, or it's very tempting for me to get excited about all the techie stuff rather than focusing on more kind of like 80 IQ kind of narratives, which tend to drive price movements mostly. But I'll say the price of ETH has bottomed out. There's so many positive catalysts. I mean, we have what Etherealize is doing on the institutional front, which is incredibly exciting. We've got a meaningful change at the Ethereum Foundation. They're focusing much more on scaling the L1, L2 interop, improving the usability. These are the exact things that they should be working on. I think they've been doing a much better job of engaging with the community and focusing on advocacy and education. So there's so many positive things that are happening. These things take time to percolate. Maybe it'll take 6 months or a year, but I really think we're at a turning point, and I'm super bullish. I mean, I honestly can't imagine if someone is serious about building decentralized applications, I can't imagine building on anything other than Ethereum. I mean, for all the shit that people have talked, some of which was legitimate about Ethereum, like what else are you going to build on, right? I don't want to. I won't talk about any other projects, but I really think it's the only option. All right. Okay. Well, thank you. Enjoy the rest of your conference. Have fun drinking or partying or whatever, and that's it.